Most people crush it from Monday to Friday, weekend hits and everything goes out the window. Monday rolls around again and they feel like they're starting from scratch. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop falling off the wagon every weekend and how to actually enjoy your weekends while continuing to progress your physique and your fitness goals. So the first thing we need to look at is actually planning in advance. So if you know you've social occasions coming up, you need to work back from them. So let's say it's Monday, you know on Saturday you've a wedding coming up, you've a birthday party, a christening, whatever it might be. You need to actually plan. And the first thing you need to take into consideration is it you're going out for food, or are you going for food and drinks, or one or the other. Once we understand that, we can then adjust accordingly. And I'm going to break a little bit of mathematics down here for you. So we taught in school we never need maths, but it does work when we're trying to lose body fat. So let's say, for instance, we're in a deficit, we're just to round it up, we're eating 2,000 calories, 7 days a week. That's us in a deficit. That's us making sure that we are losing body fat. So if we go 2,000 by 7 days of the week, that equals 1,400 calories weekly. So rather than looking at it on a daily basis, we're now going to look at our calories on a weekly basis. So we then know if we subtract from Monday to Friday 400 calories, we're then banking an extra 2,000 calories. So once we're looking at it as a weekly total, we've reduced 400 calories 5 days of the week. That allows us then to spend an extra 2,000 calories on your Saturday and your Sunday. Okay? So I hope it's not too confusing, but essentially we're banking calories for the weekend. So we're reducing earlier in the week to allow for more on the weekend. And then we can do what we please with these two. So whether that's going to be on the one day, the Saturday, we're just going to spend an extra 2,000 calories, or we can spend an extra 1,000 on top of our 2,000 calories, which is 3,000 on Saturday, 3,000 on Sunday. Okay, so that's a way then that you can remain in that deficit throughout the week. Yes, your weight might spike up, Sunday, and then Monday it might be a little bit up, but that weekly average would be where we want it to be, and make sure that we're continuing to diet down. So then you can spend it on food, you can spend it on drinks, as you please. The second thing, so this, I suppose we can call this calorie banking, so we can adjust our calories essentially. Another option that you do have is to maybe add in an extra little bit of cardio earlier in the week to burn some extra calories as well. So if you didn't want to reduce from food, or maybe you wanted to take away 200 calories from food and you wanted to burn an extra 200 calories from your output, you could add in 20 to 30 minutes cardio. And then again, you're banking those extra calories, okay? So the second thing that we're going to look at then is making sure that we actually keep active. So you'd be smashing your training all week, you'd be smashing your steps, then the weekend comes and you're like, you know what, I just want to chill, I want to relax, I want to do my thing, which we have to factor that in as well. But setting non-negotiables like making sure that you still stick to your step count, and even maybe driving them up a little bit extra on the weekends. Training, do we structure in our weight training, or are we doing it all earlier in the week? What I like to do personally is I like to maybe use some of my rest days when I'm busier, when I'm in work, when I have heavier days of work. And then on the weekends, I'll actually, like a Saturday and Sunday, I'll structure in my training days then. So I can get up, I have a lot more time throughout the day. I can get a good training session in, I can get my steps in, and then I can come back and relax. So first things first is making sure that you still hit your step count, potentially just actually using the weekend as your training days, and throughout the week having your rest days. And then things like, and then what we can look at is actually planning some activities rather than, we can get caught in the cycle of going out every weekend or whatever it might be. But if we instead use our weekends to go on hikes, to maybe start playing paddle, to start running, to go for longer walks, or even like something like a Hyrox class, factor in different activities to increase the amount of expenditure that we are doing, and then we can factor in a little bit of extra food, okay? An example of this could be like, let's say on a Sunday, we get up and we do a Hyrox class. On a Hyrox class, you could be burning 8 to 1,000 calories. Then you come home, you have your normal meals, but you have like a Sunday roast back with your family or whatever it might be. You can then factor in a little bit of extra food. Again, not completely taking the piss, but just factoring in the foods that we do enjoy, knowing that we are expending a lot more calories earlier in the day because we're increasing our output. Then the next thing, let me just slide this over. what we can look at is actually allowing for flexibility on the weekend. So let's say Monday to Friday, you're locked in, meal plan, you've prepped all your meals, you know exactly what you're eating. Then on the weekends, rather than following like that strict meal plan, you opt for a macro-based approach. And with this, like, you can, you know, make some nice recipes, pasta dishes, you know, lasagnas, macro, whatever you want it to be. You can have a little bit more time, and you can be a little bit more creative with your food. So that's what we can do. We can swap from a meal plan to more so macros based. Again, we still have to track them here, and you can just factor in your favorite foods here. As mentioned, you can go maybe have a Sunday roast with your family. You can go out for, you know, a meal, a steak, fries, burger, whatever it might be. But again, we still have to factor it in to our total amount of calories. It's not going to be bang on, but as long as our calories and our protein on the weekends are where they need to be, we're good. We're still going to, you know, continue to progress, reduce body fat, and eat the foods that we like as well. Then what we can do is, and what I like to do as well, is kind of similar to what I mentioned here, but like going for, maybe you meet your friends, you go for a nice run, nice 10k run, 5k run, whatever it is, and then afterwards you have like a coffee and a pastry. So you're doing a lot of extra activity, and you're factoring in the kind of the nice food, the treats that you want on the weekends as well. You're kind of, you know, you're burning a lot of calories, and then you can treat yourself to a nice pastry there as well. And then the key thing, I think, on the weekends, and the biggest thing is just don't overconsume. Don't overconsume. Just because you are maybe going to go out for a nice meal, or you want to have a little bit more flexibility, or you have a wedding or a birthday party, whatever it might be, just don't overconsume. Don't go crazy. I'm back on plan on Monday, I'm just going to eat all around me today, which is something that I've done in the past as well. It's very, very common. Like, make sure if you do all these things, if you plan in advance, if you then keep your weekends relatively active, and then you have more flexibility on the weekend, and you just make sure you don't completely overconsume and turn into an obese person for a full day, you're good. That is a way that you can really, you know, make sure that you're progressing while enjoying your weekend. So it's just about planning in advance. It's about making smart choices, but it doesn't mean that you can't eat your favorite foods. It doesn't mean that you can't go out for a birthday party, that you have to bring protein shakes to a wedding, whatever it might be. We can factor these foods in, but we just need to be smart. And if you do these 3 steps, you plan in advance, keep active on the weekends, and actually allow for some flexibility, I promise you can stay in shape and enjoy yourself. Peace and love. If you want to know more about coaching, click the link below.